What's up, patrons? It's KDEEZY, baby. What's good, VIP? Y'all in that thing for real. This is Antonia Gentry and Brienne Howie. I hope that's how you pronounce her name. Damn. Recap Ginny and Georgia seasons 1 through 2, Netflix, and then we're gonna get into Ginny and Georgia season 3 interviews. So we got some Ginny and Georgia stuff. Okay, this is highly anticipated for me, at least. You get it. I've been excited for this newest season. I did just finish reacting to season 3's trailer, which is on YouTube now. You guys are getting this exclusively on Patreon VIP, so I hope you guys enjoy this content. I'm gonna be bringing out a lot more content over these next couple of weeks, these next couple of months, next couple of years. Y'all gonna be enjoying the content, period. It's gonna be a lot of entertainment. I'm gonna hit this like button. Y'all could just sit back, relax, get y'all food, drink, snacks, everything. Little baby Just is about to be coming in here, give me a shot soon, so we better get lit. You get it? If you old enough, 21 up, get a shot with me. Take a shot with me for sure. Let's go and get into it.
In Ginny and Georgia, it's us against the world. Season 3 is about to drop, so before it does, we're recapping the biggest moments from seasons 1 and 2.
Let's go.
What happens? Sex, lies, murder, slam poetry. Let's get into it. Our story starts when Georgia's husband Kenny dies of a heart attack. Poor Kenny.
Fuck Kenny.
Rich Kenny. And Georgia gets all his money, which sure his ex-wife is salty about.
Giving poor Davy's inheritance to that trash.
Georgia's a force, and if there's one thing she's gonna do, it's eat the pain and move on. Which means it's time for Ginny, her brother Austin, and Georgia to leave Texas and find Ginny's 12th home this time in the idyllic Massachusetts town of Wellsbury.
Wellsbury.
Well, hold on. Georgia didn't pick Wellsbury by throwing a dart at a map. She's had it in her mind since she was a pregnant 15-year-old on a rescue.
Yo, this is crazy. It's crazy hearing Brienne Howie, like her voice without the country accent, the southern accent. Wow. Let's clap for that, because she did her thing with that accent. Yeah. Why you not clapping? Thank you. But yeah, like...
break with her motorcycle gang. A Wellsbury High School field trip was also at the rest stop, where a sweet young man gave Georgia half his sandwich and his Ray-Bans. When he got back on his bus, Georgia decided to give her baby daughter Ginny the kind of life those Wellsbury kids had, at any cost. So, yeah, Georgia did kill Kenny, but no regrets, and she'd do it again. He forced Georgia's hand by laying a finger on Ginny.
Kenny, I got it.
Dinner's ready. Georgia had a horrifying childhood, and she'd do anything to protect her kids like no one protected her. Besides, Ginny never has to know the lengths Georgia went to in order to get them to Wellsbury. Georgia is a pro at keeping secrets. She talking to the cops?
Cops? Why would she talk to cops?
What they don't know, they can't use against you.
Ginny isn't so sure about this new town at first, but there are some promising early signs. She makes an impact on her first day at Wellsbury High by standing up to a self-righteous, racist English teacher. There are 16 books on this syllabus.
Fuck that racist.
14 of them are written by men, 15 are written by white people. And I'm willing to make a guess that the one black author will crop up in the syllabus just in time for Black History Month.
She ate his ass up.
Of Max and Hunter in the process. Max quickly decides Ginny is her new bestie and introduces Ginny to her other best friends, Abby and Nora. Together, they become May. Max, Abby, Nora, Ginny. Max is an extroverted, high-energy, big feelings musical theater girly. Abby is deadpan and sarcastic, but a secret softie who keeps her struggles to herself. And Nora is cautious and non-confrontational. She'd rather spend quality time with her boyfriend than get involved in drama. Hunter wastes no time asking Ginny out, and they become boyfriend and girlfriend.
I was wondering if you wanna maybe be my girlfriend.
But feelings are hard. Hunter's a sweetheart who has no problem showing Ginny how much he likes her, but he can't compete with Marcus, Ginny's hot, artsy, moody neighbor. Marcus has a thing for stealthily climbing through Ginny's window, and you get the idea. Plus, he just gets the dark parts of Ginny, and she hides that from her friends.
Let's be for real, okay? Let's just be honest here. Hunter was not on Ginny's level. I'm not gonna lie to you. Nobody's lying here. Hunter was not deserving. You know what? Let me not say that, because I do like a good hot ass woman who decides to be with a nerdy, not as attractive to the general audience man. You get it? Or however they perceive themselves. So I'm cool with that. I'm gonna respect it. But at the same time, for this TV show, let's be honest, we know why she chose Marcus. There's no denying it here, okay? Marcus was definitely the better looking one. He was definitely the most mysterious. He was definitely giving, he struggled, but he was authentic. What is the word? Authenticity. He was authentically himself.
Yes.
Yeah, that. See, I was trying to get it. Hey, we got some liquor. Hey, I told y'all. Told y'all Jezza was coming through. Give me some liquor real quick. Let's go. My little body girl. Body girl. It sound like I said body. Body girl. Body girl. Body girl.
Body girl.
Hey, ho. Okay, huh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. From Progresso is when we got from Mexico. We went on a cruise.
It was really fucking fun.
It was very fun.
So
okay, so
we're planning on going to another one.
Yeah, we're going on another
together.
cruise for sure. Can I have some salt though? Like, I'm not gonna be able to do this. You know what? No, I just need to. Are you gonna put it on?
Yep. Lick your
You
hand.
are.
Lick
No,
your
you
hand.
do it. I can just pour it in my mouth. You just do that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We about to take this shot. So, hey, 21 and up, take a shot with us. If you're not drinking
21
juice.
and up only.
Let's go. Papa. Woo. Ha 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 ha.
Woo.
Gosh.
All right, I'm out.
Thanks, Jezza.
You're welcome, Kitty
Bye,
Daddy.
Jezza. Alright, so she wants some sugar before, okay? Okay, so let's get back into this though.
Yeah. Plus, he just gets the dark parts of Ginny, and she hides that from her friends. Incidentally, Marcus and Max are twins, but Ginny keeps her romance with Marcus a total secret. It's very Georgia of her. Ginny and Marcus grow closer while Ginny keeps dating Hunter. Max gets excited when she thinks that she'll lose her virginity to her girlfriend Sophie on the same night Ginny loses hers to Hunter. But Max has no clue that Ginny already slept with Marcus. Sneaky.
Georgia also becomes a fixture of Wellsbury right off the bat. She forces her Wellsbury dream life into reality by smooth-talking her way into a job at the mayor's office and then winning his heart. She has a way of doing that. So sure, when Kenny's ex-wife contests the will, Georgia skins a little cash from the mayor's office to get by and makes sure Kenny's body can't be exhumed for an autopsy.
That's
Mayor
crazy.
Paul isn't the only man enamored with Georgia. There's also Joe, who owns the local restaurant Blue Farm, where Ginny works and where Georgia goes to flirt.
And let's not forget Zion. Okay? All in favor. Because I know we got Team Paul's, Team Joe's, Team Zion's in this bit. I need y'all to comment down below. Are you Team Joe, Team Zion, Team Joe? I mean, Team Joe, what? Team Paul. Team Paul, Joe, or Zion? Let me know down below, okay? I am Team... You know what? I love Paul for her, but I also love Zion for her. I can see why she felt for him and that they could have really lasted a long time. But I can also see her and Paul lasting a long time. Joe would be a great, lovely man for her, but I don't think that's what she needs, you know? Joe would be great, but just too great. It would be too just... No, just... It was just all gonna be she needs some excitement in her life, you know. I think Paul or Zion gonna give it to her.
Used to have the same Ray-Bans that Ginny borrowed from Georgia. What a coincidence. Oh, Georgia's been forging the letters Austin receives from his
Oh
dad,
gosh, that
who
was
she
crazy.
framed for credit card fraud and embezzlement to get him into jail and out of her life. When Wellsbury's supermom Cynthia starts to figure out Georgia's game, they're quick to become rivals. She's doing what she's got to do to survive.
Ginny doesn't even know a fraction of Georgia's secrets, but every decision Georgia makes affects her and Austin in one way or another. Feeling like a voiceless pawn, she finds her own devastating way to scream, coping with her internal pain by self-harming. Marcus catches her in the act when he comes over to tell Ginny that he loves her. Ashamed of herself, Ginny says the most hurtful things she can think of.
You're incapable of anything real. You're a joke. Now get out.
Damn.
Marcus is so upset that he
Hey,
crashes his motorcycle.
that was crazy. He crashed the motorcycle and everything. You know, it's crazy to really think about it. When you're a teenager, you feel things a lot more. You actually care about what everybody thinks around you especially your loved ones, right? I'm not saying you can't after when you get into adulthood, but it's like when you're a teenager, it's just very strong, very intense. And so those people that are closest to you and you feel the most from when they're talking to you and what they say to you, it can cause you to do some crazy things. Oh. Delivery.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's tough. It's tougher because you're way more into your emotions. And Ginny doing the self-harming thing with the lighter, it's very interesting because I do know a couple of family members that, you know, a family member that after watching the show, you know, admitted to me that that's what they had done when they were at a certain age, you know. And I've never heard of that before watching the show, of that type of self-harm. I've never, like, it never occurred to me. So, yeah.
Marcus catches her in the act when he comes over to tell Ginny that he loves her. Ashamed of herself, Ginny says the most hurtful things she can think of.
You're incapable of anything real. You're a joke.
Only because she was hurt.
Marcus is so upset that he crashes his motorcycle and loses his phone, so he doesn't see any of the many apologetic texts Ginny sends.
He slid off the road, so now he has a concussion.
When Ginny's at the Baker house to comfort Max over her breakup with Sophie, Ginny sneaks off to be with Marcus.
Oh,
He
shit.
catches them.
Things get even more complicated when Ginny's dad Zion rolls into town.
Oh.
He and Georgia never really got over each other, and
See?
he wants to make things work this time. Zion's a cool guy, but he's been in and out of Ginny and Georgia's lives while pursuing his photography career. When he sees how happy Georgia
They should have went with him.
Zion gracefully bows out of the competition for her heart.
Still, he's committed to becoming a consistent dad to Ginny. He starts by getting an apartment in nearby Boston, then introduces Ginny to poetry as a powerful tool for her self-expression.
People don't know they don't furrow between the layers like I do.
Meanwhile, Paul officially locks it down with Georgia
That
by
poem.
telling her how much he appreciates her ambition and drive.
I bought that for you right after our first date because I knew that a woman like you only comes around once in a lifetime.
He proposes and she
He was
accepts.
smooth with that.
That's future Mrs. Mayoress to you. Of course, as George's fairy tale seems to be finally coming true, that's when shit really starts hitting the fan. First, Ginny and Austin find all of Austin's unsent letters to his dad Gil, and Ginny mails them, return address included.
Then, Max finds Marcus's phone and his text thread with Ginny, which shows undeniable evidence of their clandestine thing. Max is gutted by Ginny keeping secrets from her, leading to a huge blow-up where Abby gets caught in the crossfire. Marcus claims that his hookup with Ginny was a mistake, and Hunter breaks up with Ginny and punches Marcus in the face.
That punch. That punch was so weak. It was the way he did it. Michael Jackson had that. Like, bro, what was that? Look at Georgia. Brienne. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to differentiate that in my mind between the actors and the characters, but you know, I think it'll be easier for us all if I just say Georgia. Shoot, she's smiling.
Hunter breaks up with Ginny and punches Marcus in the face. Damn, who knew Hunter had it in him?
In other heartbreak news, Joe recognizes Ginny's Ray-Bans and realizes that Georgia is the girl he met at that rest stop all those years ago. This gives him the confidence he needs to confess his feelings for Georgia until he sees that she's engaged and keeps his mouth shut. Bleak.
To top that all off, a private investigator named Gabriel, hired by Kenny's ex-wife, has been poking around Wellsbury this whole time, dating Paul's campaign manager as a cover while he digs up dirt on Georgia. And he finds a lot of dirt.
I think your mom is dangerous.
Georgia hasn't done the
That
best
accent
job
was
covering the
crazy.
tracks. Gabriel tells Ginny he believes that Georgia killed Kenny, and while Ginny realizes that his theory is probably true, her loyalty to Georgia is unbreakable. She tells Gabriel to beat it, then burns the plant her mom used to poison Kenny.
So it's Georgia 1, Gabriel 0. For now. He's not the kind of guy who gives up easily.
Fed up with her mom's secrets at the end of season 1, Ginny steals Marcus's bike, takes her brother, and flees to Zion's apartment in Boston.
Season 2 picks up 2 weeks after season 1 ends. Ginny is camped out at Zion's and having nightmares that Georgia wants to smother her with a pillow. Huh? Georgia would never do that to Ginny.
Well, with everything in her life spiraling, Ginny has her first panic attack. It's a breaking point that gets Ginny to tell Zion about her self-harming.
It's gotten worse.
I wonder if they're reading off a teleprompter. Is that what it's called? One of those things that the news anchors, the news, whatever, what they read off of when they're doing the whole forecast and all that. I wonder if they're reading off of that right now. Most likely, but.
Back to Ginny.
Well, with everything in her life spiraling, Ginny has her first panic attack. It's a breaking point that gets Ginny to tell Zion about her self-harming.
It's gotten worse.
He sets Ginny up with a therapist, but keeps that detail from Georgia, who's more of a deal with her feelings by ignoring them type.
Just talk.
Things are tense between Ginny and Georgia, and Paul thinks it's because he's moving in. Georgia can tell that that's not the reason, but she's not quite sure what is, until she realizes Ginny knows.
Checkmate, Mom.
Horrified that her daughter knows about the monster inside her, Georgia opens up to Ginny and explains why she did what she did and why she has no remorse.
I kept you safe, because that hand doesn't stop on the thigh, and I spent my whole childhood wishing my mom would stop that hand.
It's the kind of honesty Ginny always wanted from Georgia, but it's still hard to swallow. To add to her stress, at school, Ginny is being iced out by Max. But Abby is also being shunned, so at least they're outcasts together. It's MN on one side of the...
And I think that Abby was, I feel like, of course, in the beginning we didn't really like her because she was she was really not showing much emotion, that she had. Much character, much just... I don't know. What's the word? Like, she just was being so closed off, and so she acted so standoffish and so self-centered. She would, her and the other girls, I don't know who I was in on that whenever they had Ginny shoplifting for the first time, and Georgia came through. It was like, hey, those girls are bad, for you, bad influences. But, I think it was really just what they were going through in their everyday life. I think it was Abby that really orchestrated that. Abby, she... I know she has a hard time at home. I think her parents had divorced. I forget what it was. It was a crazy amount of things that Abby was going through. Of course, she felt that she was too fat, like she was fat or something. So she would try to tape up her thighs and stuff to make them look smaller. And I don't know. She was very insecure about that type of stuff. Her body, to be exact. So.
War and AG on the other. Ginny also grows closer to Bracia, who's one of the few other black kids at Wellsbury. Bracia understands Ginny's experience in ways many other people in her life don't, and she's a welcome confidant.
Ginny starts seeing Marcus more regularly. Even though their secret is out to their friends, they're still sneaking around, until Georgia catches Marcus hiding in Ginny's closet.
Marcus, are you in the closet?
Yeah.
Georgia thinks Marcus is a good man.
Are you in the closet?
Boy. But she sees a fellow damaged kid in him and makes him promise not to hold Ginny back from her dreams.
And if you get her pregnant...
And this is where he
He promises and also lets Ginny know he's not going anywhere. He wants her to be his girlfriend. Aww. Of course. Max gets jealous of the fun Ginny, Abby, and Marcus are all having without her and breaks her silent treatment by confronting Ginny at school. Max's whole take on the drama changes.
Max couldn't take it.
Ginny and Marcus weren't hooking up carelessly. They're in love.
So you'd be like my sister-in-law. Okay, well, that's aggressive. But
Max and Ginny both are
very aggressive.
And they're back to being besties.
honestly, I've just been hurting so much, like it's leaking out of me like a faucet. And I've been such a bitch, a huge bitchy bitch.
Which is good, because now
That's
Max
why I
has
love
someone to
Max.
talk to about her confusing feelings for her ex Sophie and her new
Sophie. What made me say Lexi? Who the hell is Lexi? Sophie. Oh, that's her name. See, it's okay because you have some more explaining, some more work to do to really gain my trust anyway, and obviously the right to your name. I'll know your name when you start acting like a great person to Max. Shit. Anyway.
John Marcus's friend Silver.
Honestly, Ginny doesn't have
That
the
wasn't-
capacity for other people's problems. She's still hung up on the fact that her mom is a murderer and that Georgia killed Kenny to protect her. The guilt weighs on her, and since she can't even tell her therapist about it, she expresses herself in a poem about her fear of becoming the monster she was born from, and Georgia hears.
I inherit the sin, and I become the monster that I was born from.
Yikes, dark.
Oh, things get darker.
That's
First,
crazy.
Georgia learns that Zion has a new girlfriend, which is crazy.
And I honestly think that's where a lot of people were against Ginny, because it's like girl, your mom is not really a monster. She was trying to protect you. You know what I'm saying? She just wanted you to be okay. Just like how she wanted to be okay when she was younger. She wanted someone to be her savior, someone to come to her rescue when she needed it the most. So I think that's the disconnect there. But I remember when Georgia told Ginny about her past. I remember that. So at least she understood a little bit.
First, Georgia learns that Zion has a new girlfriend, which is crazy because no one's allowed to get over Georgia, even if she's engaged. Then Austin's dad, Gil.
Oh gosh,
to worm his little way into Austin's life.
This was
Georgia
crazy.
had good reason to keep Gil away from her family. He's an
very good
abusive
reason,
dick, and he's trying to blackmail Georgia into giving him some of Paul's money in exchange for his silence about her rocky past.
That's not all. Georgia finds Ginny's diary and is heartbroken to learn that Ginny has been self-harming and that Zion kept it from her. Georgia
I cried like a baby.
Is asked to consider some hard truths, like how her fierce ways of loving Ginny have sometimes hurt her.
I don't like this.
And how dressing as Scarlett O'Hara for Halloween was insensitive to Ginny. Listening isn't the easiest for Georgia, but she's willing to learn. She never wants to do anything to hurt Ginny or push her away. At the same time, Marcus is distancing himself, and Ginny admits she's afraid he doesn't want to be with her. Marcus tells her he doesn't want to leave, but he also doesn't want to hold her back. He lets Ginny go within...
It's not you, it's me.
Absolutely breaking her heart. What Ginny doesn't know is that Marcus has been slipping into depression and barely holding himself together for a while now. The truth is, Marcus can't care for himself, much less be in a relationship.
Ginny's not the only one with the romance blues. As Georgia and Paul make the rounds of Wellsbury as a newly engaged couple, Georgia can't help but notice that Joe seems off. And it's not because he's spending more time with Cynthia, who has gone from Georgia's nemesis to ally to maybe even friend. When Cynthia learns that Gil was
going to be friends.
Georgia, Cynthia does Georgia a solid by making it impossible for Gil to rent an apartment in Wellsbury. Georgia feels for Cynthia, who is caring for her son Zach alone while her husband is slowly dying. Georgia offers a kind ear and hears Cynthia.
And then she goes, "Kill my fucking husband."
So while Cynthia isn't looking, Georgia gives her 2 helping hands.
I mean, well, she didn't say that.
That's how Georgia sees it.
Hold on. She didn't actually say that though. She didn't say that. She said she wanted it to be over, not that like she wanted her to kill him now. Oh shit, she probably gonna be against her in this next season for a little bit. I think she's gonna get over it. She's gonna end up being on her side.
Another way is Austin, who witnesses the whole thing.
That's only the first wild thing that happened.
That was crazy.
That night. When Georgia gets home, Joe visits and they have the conversation they've been avoiding since she first arrived. Georgia acknowledges she was the girl from the rest stop, and Joe confesses his feelings for her. He asks her point blank if she's ever thought about the two of them getting together. Georgia tells the truth.
But am I crazy? Am I just making it all up? Did you ever think about it?
Look, you said it yourself. There's nothing I don't think of.
But she's getting married to Paul.
Enraged
So she has thought about Joe, y'all. She has thought about her and Joe.
Blacklisted by Cynthia, Gil shows up at Georgia's house and attacks her. Ginny and Austin finally see Gil for who he is, and Austin defends Georgia by shooting Gil. Gil flees, and Georgia and Ginny and Austin cover
his own
before Paul gets home.
Before the
papa.
wedding, Georgia does something really scary.
Tell him all of it. But what if he doesn't want me?
She gets vulnerable and confesses to Paul that she's been a hustler and a criminal her whole life, just leaving out the murder parts.
You know how y'all always
Leaving out the murder parts.
to be a team and for me to be honest and you feel like I'm holding back? Okay, well, careful what you wish for.
You just might get
Ready for
it.
him to break off the wedding and have her arrested, but instead, he stands by her side and stands up for her like her real knight in shining armor.
Speak to my wife. You do so through me.
Georgia and Paul get married in front of pretty much all of Wellsbury. It's gorgeous, right out of Georgia's dreams. Until the wedding becomes a nightmare when uninvited guests crash in the most dramatic way.
Sergeant Miller, you're under arrest for the murder of Tom Ford.
Tipped off by P.I. Gabriel, who suspects Georgia of killing Cynthia's husband, the police show up and arrest her.
I mean, but she did.
Dance with Paul.
She did.
Unnecessary and dramatic.
I was asking that earlier too. Did Georgia kill somebody else? Yes, she killed Cynthia's husband. Technically,
The
even though
thing is, we've only skimmed the surface. Catch up on all of Ginny and Georgia's first 2 seasons now.
Then get into season 3 only on Netflix.
I'm going to. Dang. Next video, guys.
Feel like
we're gonna get into some of the juicy interview questions and stuff for these actors in this show, Ginny and Georgia season 3. Well, season 1 through 3. I really enjoyed that a lot. Really getting the breakdown from both of the main actors or actresses, Brienne, Howie, and Antonia Gentry. I've seen Antonia in the movie. What's it called? Time lapse. What's it called? Time travel. Time something. Shoot. Time jump. Time jump. Something like that, with the girl that's in Outer Banks that plays Key. That was a great movie. I love both of those actresses together as sisters. Like, that was they had great chemistry. I love seeing both of them, maybe because they're so hot. I don't know, they're just fine as fuck. Maybe that's another reason, but it was just a great movie. So if you hadn't seen that, check it out. But I enjoyed it. I don't really know exactly if I said the name, like the right name for it, but it was something having to do with time jumping, time traveling, time something. Yeah, so let's get into this.
Felix said that he does kind of look at the fans' reactions. Like,
he needs to stop doing that. He needs to stop doing that.
I can't help but look it up. I want to see if
Felix takes a little gander at the Reddit.
Oh, the Reddit.
Reddit. And Antonia, so nice to see you lovely ladies again.
Wait, how did she say it?
Beautiful.
She has the same names.
Brienne and Antonia, so
Brienne.
nice to see you lovely ladies again. The two of you look so beautiful. Congratulations on this season. I want a new season of Ginny and Georgia every single year until I die.
Aww.
Thanks.
That's how much I love this show. So I personally ship Georgia and Joe and Ginny and Marcus, and I'm honestly wondering for each of you.
Georgia and Joe, get out of here. Get out of here. Out of all 3 of the candidates, we ship Joe and Georgia. Let me know down below. You team Joe, you team what? You team Joe, team Paul, or team Zion? Let me know.
You kind of look online to see who the audiences are shipping or what the fans are saying. And who do you hope is endgame for Ginny and Georgia? Brienne, do you have any thoughts?
I mean, look, it's hard. Georgia and I both love all of the men for very different reasons. I think, look, after this season, it's hard for Georgia and Zion to go back to how things used to be, which was a total shock for me. But I always loved, they were sort of these 2 ships passing in the night, and then I think what she loves so much about Paul is that he values her mind, and she feels like she can be this career.
He's loyal.
With him. But then we also love Joe, because I
think they're all loyal.
Joe and Georgia would have vibed if Georgia didn't have all this trauma behind her. He sort of brings out the everyday girl in her. So I don't know. So it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. And Antonia, what about for you? Felix said that he does kind of look at the fans' reactions.
He needs to stop doing that. He needs to stop doing that.
That's hilarious. So what is your take on it?
For Georgia and Zion, duh. I don't. I'm biased. I think it's in Ginny's best interest for her parents to stop joking around, and
it's the fact though. Zion is a great choice.
For Ginny and Marcus, I absolutely love them. I do. Yeah, they're so cute.
Yeah.
Me too.
Me too.
I agree with her.
Yeah, I have to say, the moments when you recite the poetry is so epic, and you do such an amazing job in those scenes. How does it, if it honestly sounds like a song, how do you feel when in those moments, and has it kind of inspired you to read more poetry or take on poetry in any way?
Thank you. That's a very nice compliment. I don't know, I sort of black out whenever I have to do a poetry performance. But
see, and I never been into poetry for real. We had to do poems in high school, middle school. I think we all remember that. But I've never really been into poetry. I like listening to it, but I've never been into actually writing it. I like writing songs, and people say that is a part of poetry, but I mean, it's a little different to me, but I don't know, maybe it's just a different delivery.
Big poetry performance. But, you know, I think what's just great, it's just another great part of Ginny's character, and that's sort of the outlet that she has to release her emotions. I think maybe that's what I like about it, is just how it's a tool for catharsis for the character. And I think especially at that age, too, being 16 and going through a lot of things, you know, 16-year-olds writing poetry, it's just one of the many ways in which they express themselves, and so I think it's very fitting for the character as well. But yeah, I personally, I love poetry. I love some of the greatest poets around.
That's why it's so natural on you.
Yeah, so, you know.
That's what's up.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know, I think those are some signature scenes for the character, for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely is her way of coping. Would chat with you ladies all day. I loved the TV movie, The Mayoress Murderess.
It was one of our favorites as well.
So funny. Yeah, it was so fun. And also the she's all that dress moment, okay?
They both have lovely teeth.
That. Congratulations again to the two of you, and I'm so excited for fans and audiences to see Ginny and Georgia. Like I said, I want more seasons. That cliffhanger got me, so I cannot wait for season 4.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Felix and Sarah, hi, how are the two of you guys today? You guys look fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It takes a village, but nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, nice to see you guys. Sarah, I love your hair right now. It looks
Thank
fab.
you so much. That's Tara Rose.
Ginny and Georgia is one of my favorite shows on Netflix. I binged season 3 right away. Marcus and Max, I love you guys as twins, but they were stressing me out this season, okay? They were stressing me out. I have to say, Felix, Ginny and Marcus are my #1 ship on the show. I hope that they are endgame. I'm curious, you know, do you ever like go online and see who the audiences are shipping, and do you personally hope that they're going to be endgame in the show?
I would love to say that I sit here and I don't know what the audience is thinking, but I do.
Hold on, he got an accent. I forgot. He from somewhere else. Felix Malard. It sounds cool. I don't know. Where's he from? That's his name. Felix. Where is... I'm gonna ask Chat GPT. Where is Felix Millard from? Australia. Gotcha. That's what's up. Honestly, I really do respect actors that are from a different country that come to the U.S. and can just spit out that American accent like it's butter. You know, it's pretty cool to see. I like seeing, like, and hearing their accent. You know, for real, like their natural accent. Even I like what he has on. You know, it looks very fashionable, very street, magazine worthy. Glasses, hair looking nice, and she looks great too. I like these blue pants. The outfit does give me Max. That's the thing. It gives me Maxine. I'm not sure how much I love the top, but I like the bottoms. I like her hair. I like the style of it. But yeah, it's interesting.
The audience is thinking, but I do. I can't help but look it up. I want to see if
Felix
people
takes a little gander at the Reddit.
Oh, the Reddit. Ooh, the Reddit. But yeah, like I
You get traumatized. The Reddit.
Nice to see who people are rooting for, and kind of like also people's like fan theories about like who might pop up and who might come together. I think as an actor and as a proponent of this story, of course you want Marcus and Ginny to be endgame. I think they have such a strong connection and such a strong love for each other, and I think the things that pull them away from each other at the moment are
if they're not in game, I'm gonna be pissed.
What they're both dealing with that keeps them apart, and hopefully if they can deal with that, then they can come back together, you know.
I'm gonna hope and pray. Well, Sarah, I really felt it this season when Max says, does anyone think about me as much as I think about them? I'm a really empathetic person, and I feel like I've just really felt that when you said that. Max is going through a lot within her group of friends, and just talk about exploring that part of her this season, because I did feel sad for her a lot of the time. She broke my heart.
Oh, well, thank you. But
yeah, exactly. You did awesome.
I was really excited about where they took Max this year, because like all of my prep I've ever done has been about Max being an incredible friend and Max having a huge heart. And I
really liked that they kind of explored what happens when her friends don't think of her as much and how she deals with that. And I also think off the heels of season 2, where she was like kind of a little bit of a monster, she's like so afraid to talk about it and to like upset her friends or like be known as dramatic or anything. I mean, all through the season, everyone's like, you're being so dramatic, you're Max. So I really liked seeing that side of her and how she handles that. But I also think it's just going to be really important for especially kids in high school, just because I definitely had moments where my friends hung out without me and it broke my heart. And I feel like it's going to be, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be received really well because I think a lot of people can relate to that. And yeah, I love Max with my whole heart, and if her and I lived in the same world, we would absolutely be best friends.
For sure.
And so yeah, I
That's
care
what's
about her
up.
deeply, and I really hope that they solve their stuff because I love Mang, and I want them to hang out and be happy.
I know, me too. I love Megan. I love the musical episode too. Felix, you know, Marcus is going through a very, very dark period, and a lot of young people, you know, have these kind of like substance abuse issues. What do you hope that kind of people resonate with Marcus this season, and how that can kind of bring light to a lot of, you know, family issues that are similar to his?
Yeah, I mean, it was a real privilege and a responsibility to try and take on this kind of story, and I think it deserved to be approached with the kind of respect that, you know, the understanding that a lot of people are struggling right now, especially it's so hard to be a kid growing up in this climate and facing what we are facing in society today. So to, you know, I think anything we try and do with Ginny and Georgia across the board is to try and bring representation and inclusivity and an understanding to some aspect of growing up or being a parent or being a teenager, like and that's my lucky small part in it, is to be able to hopefully show what that journey is and maybe see if there's a way out of it, or just to maybe communicate that it's okay to go through things and it's okay to struggle and that it's okay to look for help in those moments, but you kind of have to show that light and shade. So yeah, it was a really big honour to try and bring that to screen, but also challenging and hard to see Marcus going through such a gnarly time, you know.
It was, yeah. I mean, I think you put that beautifully, and I thought that both of your performances were really beautiful and memorable in this season especially. I'm so excited for audiences to see Ginny and Georgia. Truly one of my favorite shows, and I cannot wait until season 4. Thank you guys so much for
Seriously.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hey, okay, so that was Ginny and Georgia exclusive clip for you guys. Thank you guys for being here.